Deckmasters, week 1, day 3, we had a bit of a delay to say the least. There were problems with accounts and all sorts of tutorial stuff. We finally got it resolved, and we will, in fact, be playing the match StrifeCro versus Kibler. That was planned, and we thought was going to be delayed, was going to be undelayed, and we're going to get the games.
A big one here as well. StrifeCro been playing amazingly well. Kibler, obviously a huge Magic the Gathering player, and doing really well. What was that a while ago? Challenge Masters, I want to say. And, so glad we'll get to see it, if a little bit of a hilarious trip to the match itself.
Yeah, Kibler brought Druid, Hunter, Paladin, and I'm pretty happy he brought Pally because it's one of the decks that I think he's played the most. It seems to be a class that he favors very often when you watch him stream, and StrifeCro plays pretty much everything. He's got a huge preference for Warlock. I see him play a lot of that very often. He used to, I think Grinder Mage is probably one of his favorite decks, but he brought Mage, but he got banned by Kibler, so he's going to have only Hunter and Warlock to play versus Kibler's Druid and Paladin. Kibler's Hunter being gone from the lineup.
Absolutely, and right now StrifeCro is sitting at 1-0 on the overall. This is Kibler's first match. StrifeCro, he's been playing like so crazy well lately. Earlier in the week, he was so casually playing that he was having some marinara, it looked like. He was taking dinner and crushing face. I mean, that's a scary thing to be walking in on, especially Kibler. I mean, hopefully he didn't get put off by having to run through some tutorials. But if anything, that should be a warm-up, right? You crush Hogger out of the way, and then you're pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, and then you're good to go. Yeah, exactly. Going through the tutorial is a good practice. I mean, we all know that. I mean, I went from straight tutorial to rank 1 legend, of course. It's, a casual transition. No problem there.
Yeah. It's one straight into the other. Oh, man, Kibler's so handsome. Every time I look over at that picture, I just think, when is the Full House cast reunion? So, Specbug's gonna hit us for StrifeCro, so we'll get his mulligans up here in a minute.
Yeah, it's I mean, on Kibler's side though, the mulligans. I mean, the starting hand is not looking too bad. I mean, you'd probably throw a Wrath, but the rest looks pretty fine. I'm curious to see if Kibler brought Ramp or a mid-range, fairly aggressive Druid, because this doesn't give away anything. Innervate's everywhere, Druid of the Claw's everywhere, and Wrath is everywhere. So no big giveaways in that hand yet.
Yep, Swipe been a big part of the deck as well. Getting the board cleared done. We'll see what StrifeCro is running here in a minute. He's just going to pass over the first turn, and there we go. He's going to have Dr. Boom.
Gotta be mid-range. That has to be a mid-range deck. Playing Dr. Boom and Hunter is definitely not an indication of Face Hunter unless StrifeCro decided to bring a very weird twist on it, which I heavily doubt he would do at this point.
Going to drop that Mad Scientist, send it back over to Kibler. He's going to pull his Drake here early on. He's not getting a lot of the low end. But he's got plenty of time. Ironbeak Owl in for StrifeCro, which will give him some answers if some problems come up. And look at Kibler. God, he's handsome on the webcam too. There's too many pretty people in this tournament. It's too many.
Now, looking at this hand from Kibler, you've got many options. My question is, do you silence off the Mad Scientist, or do you keep that for a potential Haunted Creeper, taunted up minion? I think it gets buffed because you've got Innervate and Coin, which allows for a lot of versatility. I mean, I really like the imagine turn 3 you can play Drake or Druid of the Claw. Turn 4 you can play the other 5-drop with the Coin. That's a very common transition when you're on the Coin as a Druid, and probably one of the better ways to approach it.
Yep, just ends up wiping it off. Creeper going to be thrown down. Dr. Boom the pull for Kibler, and he's going to sit and think.
Do I play that next turn, or playing Dr. Boom on 4 mana when you're going to transition into your 5-drops right afterwards without needing to curve is pretty insane, and I wouldn't be surprised if you just opted for that. The only thing that really throws him off here is if Houndmaster gets played, but even in that case he can play Keeper of the Grove, like the silence of the Keeper.
He's got Swipe sitting around as well. I mean, he's got a lot of answers to a lot of what StrifeCro might be throwing down, and that is certainly giving him some pause here. It's a big question. Do you sit on it and wait? Do you go ahead and throw it out? Kibler doesn't know. What's he going to do? Oh, the anticipation. It grows. Man, he really is.
He's really thinking this. You really have to.
He really is. He does not want to jump the gun on it and regret it later.
It's all about not losing that tempo. So he's going to go for the safer option. I can't blame him for that, really. He's going to get an amazing curve anyway into Azure Drake, plus Swipe on the following turn, which is going to hit for 2 if the Drake lives.
And there's the Unleash the Hounds that could have been a real problem there. And it's going to just be a piloted Shredder. Instead, it's Kibler goes for the safer look. And
I
Harrison
mean, like,
Jones.
oh, Harrison Jones is going to be an amazing card later on. For the time being, not the biggest deal, but it's going to come in super handy when he needs to remove that Eagle Hornbow. It'll have at most one charge being used.
Gets a second Mad Scientist. Going to throw the Silence down on the piloted Shredder. Make sure that nothing wonky comes out there. Which, you know, makes me sad because I've just been dreaming of Lore Walker Cho. Every single day I've been watching Hearthstone. Like, some of the best games of the past month have been ridiculous Lore Walker Cho games where people just end up in this equilibrium.
Lore Walker Cho, like, those are fun. It's like the inevitable Doomsayer from the Paladin Shredder. I mean, it rarely ever happens, but when you do see it, it's a pretty good time. It's just not super common. Now, StrifeCro is going to play his Shredder for value. Despite it being silenced, he's still going to go for a kill on the Keeper of the Grove. Again, you don't want to lose that value if you can afford it, and as a result, the trap is going to send back Brian Kibler's Druid of the Claw.
And just going to trade across. Swipe now the look. He's going to drop it onto the Mad Scientist. And
could trigger two traps at once if there's an explosive trap and a freezing trap. And there are, in fact, two traps. So freezing first and then explosive if that is the case. If it's Snake Trap, though, Kibler not going to get a 2-for-1 on that end. And it looks to be Snake Trap, so Kibler not triggering the explosive. Oh, man. Surprise.
Kill command come out. He's just going to go face with his spiders and StrifeCro steady shots and sends it back on over to Kibler.
Now, here's an interesting thought. If Kibler's definitely playing Dr. Boom here, and although StrifeCro's Dr. Boom may look appealing, the big drawback of it is that if the Snake Trap is triggered and Kibler has the second swipe, that really doesn't give StrifeCro the value he wants out of Boom. So, he might opt for an Unleash the Hounds play here. He might. There's a chance, slight chance that he does.
Pulls his high main, and he's going to go ahead and use his little spider friend to give one of those bombs. Take a look at Dr. Boom, and did he drop it? He did indeed.
All right, well, that's going to be this. If this is Snake Trap, which I have to assume it is based on the explosive trap not triggering earlier, I think Kibler's got his work cut out for him on this turn.
Yeah, swipe in the hand for Kibler. Pulls his other piloted Shredder, and right now just sitting and thinking about it. Hovers over Savage Roar there for a moment. And
you know, I'm actually curious to know like what Kibler is thinking about, because the follow-up that StrifeCro picked up with the high main is really dangerous to Kibler. Like, if you play Swipe here, you're still going to get blown out in a way. I think Savage Roar and Swipe guarantee a board clear, and you don't lose Dr. Boom. You're guaranteed to wipe this board, because Snake Trap is, as I said, you know, likely what's in there. So attacking with the Boom bot into Dr. Boom is guaranteeing a board wipe with just the swipe.
And there he goes. Going to go ahead and trigger the Snake Trap. Swipe going to come out, and Kibler going to get great value on that one.
Oh, man, that must feel good. Oh, the swipe is so beautiful.
After the 9 to face. I mean, StrifeCro was looking real comfy there for a second.
6 damage from this. But these Boom bots really nailed it. I mean, just short of dying here for Dr. Boom, taking some damage. 50-50 with that knife, killing the 7-1. Oh, man. Is he going to get it? And he
it goes to face. Oh, you can't be too sad about that.
That was pretty crazy.
What are you going to do? Oh, man.
So, do you push for damage here if you're Kibler's position, or do you still try to play the... Because, you know, with on 1 health, very often, a Knife Juggler eventually is just going to kill your Dr. Boom. So, you're going to lose it for nothing. Do you want to get something for it and play the long game against itself on a high main, or not?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, you've got StrifeCro sitting at 17. 7's got to be looking like a pretty tasty number to knock off there. And I see an arrow coming out, but that spec lag. There we go. Azure Drake. Going to drop onto the field, which certainly gives StrifeCro something to think about. Let's see where he ends up going with that Boom. I'm with you on that one. He looks like he's going to go to face with it. And just sit back and let StrifeCro make the calls on that. See if he tries to gamble with the juggle or what he's going to do. Innervate going to come out. And what's he going to
draw? A little bit of a tempo play. He's trying to push for face here at this point. He's got 2 Druid of the Claw. One of them can charge. I wonder if... I mean, I don't think the new Druid of the Claw changed his plans, but they might have influenced them. It's just that when you think about the current board, StrifeCro is forced to make trades. Absolutely forced to make trades.
Yeah, he definitely can't sit on top of this. I mean, you got 15 showing on the board. He's going to get his Unleash the Hounds out. And then he's just going to have to go to work. Kibler giving him a little nod like, yes, this is within parameters. He's going to get a juggle, though. Onto that Dr. Boom. There's a little bit of help and got some good juggles onto the piloted Shredder.
Yeah, that's not going to do much, but the Dr. Boom's down, so not too bad. Not too bad.
Buy him a little bit of time at the very least, and he's got some good damage on his side as well. StrifeCro running low. He's looking to low fed. Gonna send the high main in to do some work and then drop low fed.
You know, this is going to be a really sticky position for Kibler, because although he's got a total of 6 damage in hand with Druid of the Claw, my problem with this board at the moment is that he can't play spells to recover even if he had them because of Loatheb, and he's probably just going to die next turn unless he finds something.
He's going to pull an Ancient Allure.
Does he have to heal himself, is what he's wondering, because if you look at StrifeCro's board, he's looking at 9, 10, 16 damage, 21 with Kill Command, and with Unleash and Hero Power, that's more than enough to take down Kibler, so Kibler's got to make a tough call here. He's got to make a tough call.
And with it showing on the board, you know, he's going to be acutely aware of it. He knows he's seen one Kill Command come out, I believe, already, so, you know, he's got to be guessing that second one's, if not in hand, at least lurking somewhere in an ever-dwindling deck. He's going to hover over that Ancient Allure, drop it down, and he's going to go for the heal.
No, he's going to go for the draw and hope to find a Wrath, I'm guessing. I'm not too sure, but at this point, the StrifeCro has this... does he have this? He needs 21 damage. He's got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 with Hero Power, and 21 exactly with the Unleash the Hounds, I think. Yep, that should be it.
Up, but the armor not going to be enough.
Oh man, exact lethal for StrifeCro here. Doing the math. And he's got it.
That was a flourish. He's going to end the game with a little flourish.
So he's recounting. Well, never mind the recount. Just full on Unleash. And the charge damage from that Hound, really important here. Could have been any other card, I guess, like Quick Shot, and it would have done it. Oh man. Those boom bots really were a problem, because they left Dr. Boom with 1 health, leaving it vulnerable to Knife Juggler and the Hounds. So big boom bots there for StrifeCro.
Kibler with the nod. Gonna just have to give it over to StrifeCro on that one, man. He got some really nice bombs, and then that second turn juggle to all but get the work done.
You do what you can, but when Dr. Boom bots do what they want, then I guess there's only so much you can do. I mean, RNG, as you said, will
you smile and you grit your teeth and you go, well, that's Hearthstone, and then you go to the next one.
Scalestone, Heroes of RNG Craft. So Kibler, losing with Druid, can go back to it. He's got a Paladin on the back end. StrifeCro has to win against both decks with a Warlock. Again, Warlock sometimes fairly weak to Paladin, depending on how the Paladin deck is built. But if he can't beat the Warlock, the Paladin from Kibler, he's going to be out of it. So if Kibler can just seal the games against the Warlock, he should be fine. It's just a Druid versus something that should be a mid-range lock or Malygos Warlock from StrifeCro. Could be a little tricky.
Absolutely. He's going to go ahead and mulligan it out. We're going to roll it around. And I got to say, I mean, a close one for Kibler there. So some solid play, but StrifeCro just hitting it where it hurts, man. The RNG carrying him through that one. We'll see if Kibler can mitigate this time. It's, you know...
But there's a wild growth, there's an Innervate, things are looking good. He just needs to pick up really solid mid-game cards. Another Innervate is not what he's looking for. There is such a thing as too much ramp.
Yeah.
there is such a thing as too much ramp, and I think we've just hit that point.
Yeah, it feels good when you're sitting on a couple of high-value cards that you'd love to be able to get on the board a little bit early, but as it is, you know, what's he going to do? He's going to look at him, he's going to say, hey, Sludge Belcher, you're my friend. Tell me what to do, and Sludge Belcher's they never have good advice. Those guys, Imp Gang Boss, going to come down for StrifeCro, and I mean, he's got some good stuff in the hand. He's got Mal'Ganis there if it makes it that far.
That's an interesting
swipe for Kibler.
Kibler's he's got a really interesting decision line to take here, because if you Innervate, you're overpaying for the Sludge Belcher, but at the same time, what is your choice when you see this come out?
Yeah, he needs to get something out there. I mean, it's just going to be just so much momentum in StrifeCro's way, and I mean the way he's pulling, it's like you said, swipe, an interesting card. You know, I'm sure he would much rather have something that's going to give him some beef on the board, but it's going to have to be Sludge Belcher and send it back over. Haunted Creeper, the pull now for Crow. StrifeCro. I feel weird saying just the last part. I should remember.
The Crow, yeah. Well, you know, he does give Crow Fist. Are
He
you the
does.
crow? Oh, the crow. We stand watch over the wall. Although this wall is just a void walker. There's really nothing there to
Yeah, it's not a
watch.
huge wall, but I mean, it's an ugly one. Well, it's not as ugly as Sludge Belcher, I should say.
Oh man, you know what? I only recently finally started to understand what the sludge belcher was, mumbling. He says like "Tums feel funny" or something. Tums feel funny. I don't know exactly who voiced that, but mate, you can do ooze
You think they
impressions, all
just told
right.
him to go nuts in the booth? They were just like, say whatever, say whatever, man. Well, we're gonna make it sound weird. Nobody's gonna even know.
You know what? Just make sounds. We'll pretend like they're words as soon as we
We'll
can
pretend like-
figure out something that looks like it's a word. So the guy
You're a
just
giant oozing corpse monster. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anything you say is within reason.
So StrifeCro here not making a decision yet. Apparently he's definitely not going to be playing the Knife Juggler because he would have done that before. So it's going to be a Void Terror turn, making it actually quite big here. Leaving the 2-1 for another Imp cycle, eating up the free 1-1 and getting a 5-7 out of this.
Get some nice eyes on the terror, and I mean, really took a while there. Yeah, I was with you. I was thinking that Knife Juggler was going to come down fairly quickly. Savage Roar going to come out for Kibler, and honestly, if he was selling spells to somebody, he'd be rich by now. But
There's something like there's a play to be made with a swipe, but I think you might want to wait one more turn because the way I'm looking at this is you could kill the Imp and swipe the 5-7, then innervate the Wrath. But it's kind of weak to because you're using 3 cards to get rid of 2 that have already done their job pretty much, and then you've got 0 cards in hand and nothing but a 3-1 Belcher. So he has to play for the long game here. Kibler needs to go for slower plays, as bad as they may feel.
yeah, because he's
even cycling the Wrath.
he needs to get something in there. Like you said, StrifeCro, I mean, just sitting on a really nice sort of spot to be right here. He's got good stuff on the board. He's got Defender and Knife Juggler and the Creeper in hand to give him just a little bit of stuff for Kibler to have to think about on the board. And Kibler keeps drawing, just not what he needs right now. Some good stuff situationally, but right now he's just not in those situations.
So he's going to wait for turn 6, get himself 6 mana, not to have him to innervate either of those plays, which is obviously the better option. Kibler playing again the long game. He needs to pick up, ideally, like a good Doctor Boom or Ancient of Lore here would go a long way to making this a bit more manageable.
StrifeCro with just an all-positive trade right there as he drops a Defender of Argus. And he's going to get the other Savage Roar. The RNG gods are not being kind to the man who beat Illidan only moments ago.
Well, he's able to cycle a little bit here with 1 damage from Wrath, then swipes the 2 minions. And that puts him in an okay spot. It's just that unless he picks up something amazing in the next few turns, he's going to get blown out by StrifeCro's tempo.
Yep. Knife Juggler, a lot of head shaking from Kibler in the past couple of minutes, and rightly so, as he's going to get the Knife Juggler and the Creeper out and just go to face and the turn back on over. StrifeCro sitting in a comfortable spot. Thorsan,
he's got to innervate the Shade. You know what? Go all in on it, and maybe hope for Force of Nature with that double Savage Roar in hand. All you've got to wait for. You can do that double combo on 10. You're good to go.
At least he finally got some minions out on the board that are going to be hug-worthy there. Going to drop some costs and send it back over. StrifeCro going to pull another Power Overwhelming.
Whoa, wait. So with Implosion and the Creeper, he's got a lot of knife hits, right?
Yeah. Because he can...
That is a whole lot of them.
So he could, he could cause Kibler some real consternation here. I mean, that's if StrifeCro wants to send it in that direction. Certainly it'd be the most fun for us to watch. I think anytime we get to watch the juggles happen, everybody has a good time. StrifeCro sitting there doing the math on it, deciding if that's what he wants to do. He's going to Power Overwhelming it and get the game started.
All right, so down goes... Is he really going to kill his own spider to get more triggers? You know what? This is amazing. Not only is it going to pop... I killed the Shade. Rest in peace, little Shade. You will be missed. And now Kibler's only out probably is a swipe. Top deck
Kibler
swipe.
can't do anything but chuckle at that and nod. I mean, what do you do? And he pulls Wild Growth.
You know,
And he laughs at the Wild Growth.
I have never seen in my life such a bad draw for any player with any deck ever in a tournament setting. I have never seen this. He literally could not take a step since turn 1.
Silver lining, nobody knows what Kibler's running in this Druid deck.
There's one upside to this.
He's counting it up and just kind of. I mean, the expressions tell it all. And I just, how do you, what do you
You
do?
just wild growth on 8th just to make a point, just to
Yeah,
be like,
just
hey, here's what I have. Like you just play all your spells and you move on.
I was been talking to my lady about this in the past couple days. Why is there not a cry emote when you click on your champion? Sometimes that's all you want. It's just to send a little single tear down Malfurion's face to let everybody know I'm real sad and it's nobody's fault.
Kibler here playing the Wild Growth to get 10 mana next turn. Even if he picks up Force of Nature, he still only has 22 damage. Oh, Life Tap could put him... Oh man, he's gonna be 1-off lethal if he top decks Force of Nature. Does he actually have it? Does StrifeCro have it? 8, 9, 10? He's got 14. Oh man, 1-off lethal for Kibler. If he finds Force of Nature, this would be the most bittersweet top deck.
That would be fantastic. Oh, and yeah, because he's just going to have to send it back over. What's he going to get? Ancient of Lore. So he'll get a chance to draw into it.
No, he has to heal himself. It's unfortunately not going to do anything considering the current state of the board. And Kibler is going to say, well played. I mean, with such a dry draw, it's pretty hard to do anything. I mean, you saw Wild Growth, you saw Innervate, it looked good. Then you saw a second Innervate, it looked less good because that was too much. So he hoped for really high
Savage Roar back to back.
Yeah, and then that
Potential.
Was
and then Wild Growth again, and then Kibler just takes a powder. He's gonna check out of that one. 2-0 to StrifeCro.
I mean, I have to wonder if Kibler's ability... I mean, he's a card player. He's been playing MTG for the longest time, Magic the Gathering. He's used to swing and variants. Like, do you think this will be marked in his mind as the most unfortunate streak of draws he's ever had, ever? I mean, to me, this is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, that was just... you just kept waiting for anything to come out of there, and it was like, oh, a useful spell in a completely different situation. Oh, if I had this would have been super nice. But no, it was just spell, nothing to do, nothing to get on there. He finally gets a little bit out with the Shade and Thaurissan, and then
juggles, juggles
nothing you could do. Yeah. And you know what? Let's give style points to StrifeCro for showing the juggles.
I liked the play. My initial thought was that he was going to play Implosion first, then attack into Thaurissan with the spider, but that would have risked not spawning perhaps the last 2 spiders. It might have averaged to the same thing, but the way he played it was either way going to lead to like a massive blowout unless Swipe was